What's up, guys? Back at it again with yet another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my Meps experience with the Air Force, as well as some do's and don'ts on what not to do and what to do once you get to Meps. So Meps stands for the Military Entrance Processing Station. It's where you do everything regarding joining the military. It's where you take the ASVAB, it's where you go do your physical, and it's also where you go swear in and become an official member of the military. For most people, your recruiter will schedule your ASVAB, which you'll take at Meps, and then once you take the ASVAB, assuming that your scores are solid and you're not a complete dumbass, they'll put you up in a hotel the same day so you can wake up bright and early the next morning and do the hard part, which is the physical. More on that in a bit. Now for me, the best part of this whole Meps experience is the hotel part. I don't know if it's because I'm an older recruit, but I had my own room. Apparently some recruits don't have their own room, they have to share one. I wouldn't know. There's a pool I got to take advantage of, a nice gym, they feed you dinner. It was pretty nice. You'll also be with recruits who are processing for all the other branches as well. There's a meeting you'll have to go to at 8:25 p.m. that basically lets you know what time you're gonna have to wake up and when to be ready. My advice for that 8:25 meeting, unless you want to be called out in front of everybody, make sure you make it to that meeting on time. It's the military, okay? If they say something starts at 8:25, they don't want you there at 8:26 or 8:30. They want you there and ready by 8:25. So don't be one of those assholes who thinks it isn't a big deal if you get there just a few minutes late, okay? You will be embarrassed.
Whoa! Look who decided to show. Choir, let me hear it.
Now once you get that meeting out of the way, you go back to your hotel room to get ready for the next morning. Try to fall asleep by like 10 or 11 so you can at least get 4 to 5 hours of sleep, because you'll have to wake up at 3:45 a.m. in the morning, and it's gonna be a long day at Meps. It's a lot of sitting around doing nothing, and you won't have your phone to entertain you, nor will you be allowed to sleep. So get as much rest as you can when you can get it. So once you get to Meps for the physical, everything is pretty much laid out for you. They'll tell you where to go, where to sit, when to shit. Your job is just to listen and keep your mouth shut. The less you stand out, the better, because there's people that work at Meps that love to be dicks. They love to pick on the clueless kid who needs everything told to them like 4 times before it registers in his head. So don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Now the physical you have to take part of is pretty much the standard physical you take when you're in high school. They'll check your heart rate, your blood pressure, you'll have to take a vision test, a hearing test. They'll check your height and weight to see if you fall within the limits. You'll also have to take a drug test. So if you're not clean, don't even bother to show up to Meps, because once you fail that piss test, you won't ever be allowed to join the military. Ever.
Stay off the damn weed, and they don't listen.
Another thing you have to do, and this is where some people screw up and get disqualified, is they sit down with the doctor and answer some questions. He'll ask you if you have any tattoos, any medical issues, problems with the law. The doctor even asked me if I had any traffic tickets, which was funny to me because he's a doctor, not a traffic cop, but whatever. A general rule of thumb is, if you don't disclose anything to your recruiter, don't have an epiphany all of a sudden and disclose it to your Meps doctor. For example, when you're filing paperwork with your recruiter, there's a question that asks, have you ever been depressed? Have you ever contemplated suicide? Ever had anxiety? If you answered no to those questions with your recruiter, don't all of a sudden get super honest with the doctor and be like, yeah, I got dumped one time by my girlfriend in college and spent the last 2 years eating Ben & Jerry's while unemployed in my parents' house. Super depressed. Make no mistake, say some bullshit like that to the doctor and the doctor will fail you. Understand, no one in Meps is your friend. They are there to fail you. They will scare you. They'll say that if you're found lying, you'll be arrested. It's all bullshit. They're not gonna do anything to you. Just learn how to say no. Something you can't say no to, though, is the butthole check. After the doctor asks you the questions regarding your medical and legal history, he's gonna tell you to get undressed and spread your butt cheeks like you're on the backroom casting couch.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
It's probably the most humiliating part of Meps, but it's just something you have to do. So just spread your cheeks, get it over with, and make sure your ass is clean. Another thing you have to do is the dreaded duck walk. No one likes to fucking duck walk. They'll ask you to do this when you're in your underwear to take your height and your weight. You basically have to squat down with your hands to your side and walk like a duck. It's doable, but can be challenging if you don't expect it. I advise practicing in your hotel room the day before so you don't look stupid when it's time to do it. For the Air Force recruits watching this, there are 2 special things you have to do in Meps that are just Air Force related that other branches don't have to do. The first is the depth perception. You're going to look into these binocular style glasses, and the person conducting the test is going to ask you which letter or line stands out. It's pretty easy. I won't worry about it unless you got some serious vision issues. The second special thing you have to do is the shoulder press. I don't know why, but the Air Force wants to make sure you can at least lift 100 pounds over your head. So there's the Smith machine they have you lift. You'll start out at 40 pounds, then 70, and then 100. If you lift with your legs, you should be okay, but if you're someone who's never lifted weights before, there might be a little issue. But once you do all this, guys, you're pretty much almost done and ready to swear in. The cool thing about the Air Force is that you don't pick your job right then and there like the other branches. That's something that you do later on with your recruiter at a later time. The other branches, like the Navy, for example, you got to sit with an admin and pick your job right then and there, which sucks because if the job you want isn't available, the admin is going to recommend jobs to you that you've never even heard of, and you're going to be forced to pick a job you don't really know about. But if you're in the Air Force, you'll skip that part and you'll just have to wait to swear in. Once you swear in, you're one step closer to being in the military and your Meps experience will officially be over. Expect it to be an all-day thing. I got there like at 5 a.m. and didn't leave until 4 p.m. But it honestly goes by pretty quick because there's just so much you have to do. I still don't know my ship date as of this video, but as soon as I find out, I'll make a video to let you guys know. But go ahead, guys, let me know your Meps experience and how it went in the comments below. If you haven't went to Meps yet and you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below as well, and I'll get to them as fast as I can. But that's it for this video, guys. Catch you on the next one. Godspeed.